I feel like Owens looked really weak tonight. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Owens was my low shot tonight.
Yeah, I would not blame you for that. I mean, he's no longer NXT champion, lost at a Beast in the East, had a chance to really make a statement heading into background.
You know what, dude? Why don't we just get into that segment?
All right, next segment, high spots and low shots. But you know what, actually, you were already kind of on your one-track mind, so Kevin Owens is your low shot.
Kevin Owens is easily my low shot because here's my thing. He shows up, man on a mission, gonna get the U.S. title to replace the NXT title. Gets basically bitched out by Cesaro. Like, he doesn't even want to touch Cesaro. He doesn't want Cesaro on his bad side. He's basically scared of Cesaro at this point. And then he comes back to get a piece of Cena. And Cena, who had just been through a 30-minute war with Cesaro, who's the guy that Kevin Owens pretty clearly now fears, just manages to pretty much fairly easily get one up on Kevin Owens.
When you really put it in that kind of context, and given my assertions earlier, I wouldn't call it a full-blown heat of the night, but if we were doing our first segment, that definitely would have been a nitpick for me. Yeah. I really didn't like the booking of Kevin Owens in this main event segment. That was probably the weakest part of the whole thing.
Do you want to know why I got excited about that, though?
And I know why you did, because you even said to me in conversation, because you feel like this pretty much confirms that Kevin Owens will be U.S. champion at Battleground.
But it was like a false excitement, because that would have been if this would have happened next week.
Right.
If this segment with Kevin Owens trying to hit Cena with the Pop-Up Powerbomb and Cena jumping over him and then hitting him with an AA to close the show, if that would have happened next week, I would have been like, that's it. I'm picking Owens to win the U.S. title. It's over.
Right.
But now, like, next week, they're probably going to have Owens look strong, and I'm going to be completely on the fence.
Yep, that's how they get you. But for now, I completely agree with Owens being your low shot. For me, I think my low shot's just going to be the Authority. I mean, Seth Rollins was so pumped up to call out Brock Lesnar, and he ended up getting punked out. Really, if I had to pick anybody in the Authority in general at the worst, I'd say Jamie Noble, because his arm was just broken, his Cadillac was destroyed, and he still has broken ribs. So it just keeps getting worse for Noble. But yeah, the Authority as an entity really had a horrible night tonight, with Seth Rollins leading the charge, because it just, everything that could have gone wrong did. So the Authority is my low shot. So now I guess who is your high spot, Ashton?
Man, I'm gonna... I want to make it Brock, but he didn't actually get his hands on Seth, so I kind of feel like it would not be a pure enough high spot. So I'll tell you what, I guess it's a cop out. I'm just gonna go there. I'm just gonna say Brock Lesnar's my high spot because, he went on one with the Cadillac and won.
Yeah. If you don't believe us, just ask the fan at ringside that got hit by that door.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I really hope it's okay though. That's pretty freaky shit.
Yeah, I mean, sure. When you think about it like that, it's terrible. But Brock Lesnar threw a car door at a fan. I can't even.
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you what, my high spot, and I know it's weird given our usual criteria, but I got to. The emotional high spot, Cesaro. The guy had the match of his freaking life. And you know why he's my high spot? Ashton pretty much gave you guys the answer. He in that one soundbite, when fans look back on this match and say this was the match that pretty much restarted Cesaro's career, who else is going to have a higher night than that? Certainly higher than Dean Ambrose, who should be at the pinnacle of his career, but is having random matches with Bo Dallas. I mean, even though he lost, he had a match that had a purpose, that had an end game against the highest caliber opponent in WWE's mind, and certainly in anybody's mind if they want to look at it objectively, in John Cena. Went to distance, and again, this is not a case where, oh, he lost, it's so bad. Wins and losses do not matter. When you look as credible as Cesaro did, he was the worst man for 3 seconds in that match. That's it. And he walked away from the whole thing looking like somebody whose career is finally ready to rise and take everything that we've expected him to for, however long now. For Ashton, 15 months. For me, the past 2 to 3 years. You take your pick. But we've known that this guy is main event prime for a while now, and it seems like he's finally ready to strike. So, yeah, Cesaro, even if you want to call it an emotional high spot, I don't care.
No, guys, dude, and that's my thing. Realistically, Cesaro would be my high spot too. But I really wanted you to have that because that's just you're such a huge mark for him, and
right.
Yeah, like he might not be quite on that Mundo, Adam Cole, Rollins level, but I feel like he's just the notch below that for you.
Yeah, and that's really the
Like
proper
he's
way to
kind of down
describe
there
it,
with
just a notch.
Cody Rhodes and Barrett and Bray, where like as soon as the WWE decides to do something with them, your mark gets absolutely turned up.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the
Yeah.
category that he's in, and that like tonight was your night because of that.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you this right now. That man ever shares a ring with Brock Lesnar, I will lose my shit.
Well,
Like, and that's what it is with Cesaro. You gotta do something with him because he is so good, and I'm just so happy as a wrestling fan that he got to show it tonight. But your high spot was Brock Lesnar. My high spot was Cesaro. So yeah, that takes care of high spots, low shots. So now I guess we'll move on to our next segment, Raw request, and I'll just keep the ball going on the same subject. WWE, please keep Cesaro relevant. We have a go-home show next Raw. I don't know what you're going to do with Cesaro at the pay-per-view. Hell, I know it's another random-ass match, so it kind of makes me a hypocrite. I wouldn't mind if you put Cesaro and Dean Ambrose together. I mean, why not? Maybe you have Cesaro talk about his match and you have Dean Ambrose interrupt and say that, he felt like he was on an upward, climb and only one of them can really be in that kind of main event echelon. So who's the better man? You make it a story about two guys at two different stages of their career, two different stages of momentum. Who's better? I mean, it's a flimsy story. I'll be the first to admit it, but I would embrace it. I would go with it. But just, do something with Cesaro. Maybe he won't even make the pay-per-view. I guess I could live with it, but especially afterwards when we're heading towards freaking SummerSlam. Keep this guy strong because now you've got me invested again. And this is something I kind of wanted to avoid because like Ashton said, Cesaro's really only a notch below those guys. And I think that's primarily because, again, most of the time Cesaro has nothing to do. It looks like he's going to have stuff to do now, so I have a reason to be a mark. I have a reason to really let it out. Don't botch this one, because Cesaro, you can bring a return on that investment. So just that's my real request. Keep the booking consistent with Cesaro, because if this is the start of his main event push, I am beyond all in. I'm just so excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing with that. I sign on to your Raw request completely, and I don't know if Cesaro is quite on that Finn Balor, if you mess this up, I will physically kill you, Vince level, but it's close.
Yeah, without question.
All right. Just because this kind of seemed to be a theme for what annoyed me tonight, my Raw request is to... Let me just put it this way. When, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when Charlotte and Sasha, and then eventually Becky, and then even further down the road Bayley, debut on the main roster, change the way you book your women.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
That's my thing, John. I'm horrified because these girls get called up only to be transformed into the same mold that Paige was transformed into when she got called up. It's going to be here tonight every night and every week, and I'm not going to even apologize for it because we will know what they're capable of. We will know what can happen if they're booked correctly, and I am going to be absolutely unrelentingly, just unabashedly pissed off about it.
You know what would hurt the most if that becomes reality? Just, the whole booking not changing when they come up. It's not even the fact, I mean, it's a huge part of it, don't get me wrong, that we know what they can do. It's the women behind the performers and how they must feel when they walk, through the curtain after a matchup. Because when you hear Sasha and Charlotte and Becky and Bayley talk about what they want to do and what they've been doing in NXT, I just picture like the smiles on their faces and the glow in their faces, and I just picture that all of that being taken away from them when they get to the main roster. And I don't want that to happen to them because these are women that love this business. And I don't want to make the main roster, not necessarily make them fall out of love, because I don't think they ever would. I think they are so committed, especially Sasha. If you guys, who was it, Ashton? Sam Roberts, the interview we listened to recently?
Yep.
With Sasha Banks? Yeah, when you hear that interview, she's a lifer. She's a lifer if I've ever met one.
Mm-hmm.
But, goddamn, don't kill their spirit. Please don't. Like, it goes beyond a talent thing. Like, I feel like a sentimental attachment to these women because they've really
because they're different. That's the thing. Like, it's not like, oh, well, maybe if we care about them, they'll date us or something stupid like that. It's got nothing.
No.
It's got nothing to do with anything sexual, anything physical, anything like that. these characters and these women in NXT have gotten a legitimate emotional connection, not just with us, but with the entire crowd. We are rooting for them not only to succeed as far as winning matches goes, but to succeed in the company because we see what they can do. We know what they represent and we want it. We want what they represent to be featured, to happen, to be a thing.
You know, like everything he said, and then some. It's time for a changing of the guard. It is 2015. I don't care to see mud wrestling or bra and panties matches or 5-minute matches where the only thing is, oh, look at the attire the women are wearing. I could give two shits about that. You have...
Couldn't.
Sorry. I couldn't give two shits about that. I'm normally so good about that. You have 4 excellent wrestlers.
It's more than 4 now. It is more than 4. But for now, we'll go with 4, just because that's the buzzword now, is the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, 4 horsewomen. That's what my focus is on. I know we have plenty more, but again, that's my focus. 4 that we know sooner or later are going to come into the main roster and take the Revolution to the main roster. Do not get in their way. Do not. Because even if it's just from us, which I know it won't be, but even if it was just from us, he just said it will not stop being a heat of the night, and I will not stop co-signing to those heats of the night, because we know what these women can do, and we know what these women are about. They're not in this for anything but the pure love of it, and I love that about them. Don't screw them over on this. I'm not asking you to give them a main event to a pay-per-view, though that would be amazing given what they can do. I am just asking you to let them do what they've been doing in NXT, give them the respect they deserve, and then maybe those opportunities will necessitate themselves. But you're never going to know unless you give them a fair shake when they walk through the door.
You know, it's crazy because we complain a lot about certain performers not getting more prominent spots on Raw, on pay-per-views, just in general. And like you look at like names like Cody Rhodes, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, I am going to come right out and say I would rather we have a strong women's division in WWE on the main roster where the women get 10 to 15-minute matches consistently on pay-per-views and over 15 minutes at really important stages of feuds. I would rather have that than some of those guys getting main event spots. Like Cody Rhodes, I love you, dude, but I am okay if you are a mid-carder for life. Cesaro, a little bit of a different story, but still, the idea is I want a respectable, and I'm not even saying respectable as in like, I want these women to cover up their bodies. I want them to say their prayers every night before they go to bed. No, not like that. I'm talking about respectable as in like treated as equals, because they are, if not better than most of the male performers. Especially when you go to NXT and you talk about Sasha and Becky specifically, I just want them to get their shot. Give them a year of consistently booking them as with as much attentiveness as you book, say, a John Cena. Give them that opportunity. Let them fail. Don't you fail them. Let them be the ones that fail. And I guarantee you they won't.
I can't even add anything to that. I mean, that was perfectly said. All I can say is that after that Sam Roberts interview that we watched, Sasha Banks, I mean, you and I have always loved her. I mean, you, to me, were the original Sasha Banks fan because you were always, like, behind her, you know, from day one, from the jump. But I really grew to love her just so much more after that interview and hearing about the sacrifices she made. The idea that she missed a funeral of a family member just so that she could do something wrestling related, because that's how bad she wanted this. Do not screw that woman over. Do not screw any of these women over unless they deserve it, unless they drop the ball to Ashton's point, which, again, to echo his sentiments, they won't, because they really are that damn good. And the only way you're going to know that is if you give them a chance to prove it. So we'll see what happens.